What? You're not saying nothing till you're Irie.
Who you listen to?
Irie FM.
Who run things?
Irie FM.
Who are the leader?
Irie FM.
While driving through Jamaica, there's only one radio station I listen to. Irie FM, Irie FM, Irie FM.
Ezekiel, you love me? Irie. Ezekiel, you don't marry me again? Irie. Ezekiel, the lamp turn over? Irie. Ezekiel, the house abandoned? Irie. Papa Jesus, who turn off your radio?
Irie lead. Them other little station have the roots like some little weed. I want to them indeed.
Irie FM, I lick that.
Reggae Radio, Irie FM.
Irie shot.
Reggae in the morning, reggae in the evening, reggae at night time on Irie Radio. Reggae in the morning, reggae in the evening, reggae at night time on Irie Radio.
Yasama batachinoi, besama yemet nor, semi kades mangustimta, fegadi besama indionech, endi hu bemedir tihun, yalaten jarachnen sitenzare, bedelachnen ikker belen, igna yebedelnen ikkeren demenil, awada fetna matagban, kakifu adenenen fi, mengist yante antenantena, highly amaskam, lisleale.
In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa, we ask these ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa and marched down the Nile, laying the foundations for human civilization and culture, we ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of these African ancestors who built their pyramids and their temples to their God concepts, to their principles, and to their moral values, who left us a legacy of architectural and monumental building unparalleled in the history of the world, we ask these ancestors who built the pyramids, who built the temples, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these African ancestors who took this African culture and extended it throughout Africa, building the stone cities of Zimbabwe, building the empires of the Sudan, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, building the Swahili city-states along the east coast of Africa, and in Christian Africa asking King Lalibela and giving him the courage to build the 12 churches of Lalibela from the ground down, monuments to the world. We ask these Africans who spread this culture to the Dogo and to the Akan and to the Yoruba and to the Bankango and to the Zulu. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the Africans who opened up Africa, opened up the Nile Valley to other cultures and other peoples, and they came in and nurtured themselves on the African greatness. First coming in early were the ancient Hebrews, and they synthesized this culture and produced Judaism. Later coming in were the Christians, and they synthesized this culture and produced Christianity. Coming in were also the Greeks, who took the African culture, synthesized it, and produced Greek civilization. And then later, the Prophet Muhammad, and with the Arabs coming into the Nile Valley, they synthesized the culture and produced Islam. We ask these African ancestors, who as part of their legacy laid the foundations for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Greek civilization, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask those African ancestors pulled out of Africa, taken to the hells of North America, South America, the Caribbean, maintaining the spirit of African humanity in their hearts and in their minds, and who left us this enormous legacy of struggle. We ask those Africans who resisted enslavement in the villages of Africa, who resisted enslavement in the shores of Africa, who resisted enslavement in those forts and dungeons, who resisted enslavement in the holds of those ships, who resisted enslavement when they arrived on these shores in the New World. We ask these Africans who ran into the highlands of northeast Brazil and established for 100 years the first free republic in the Americas, the Republic of Palmares, and their last great leader, Zumbi, who spirit and sacrifice. We ask these Africans who replicated the Brazilian experience and went into the highlands of Jamaica and became the maroon free communities. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of the Guyanas and Suriname and created free republic of the Suramaka and the Ajuka. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of Georgia and the swamps of Florida and moved with the Seminole Indians and resisted oppression. We ask these Africans who left us a legacy of struggle and resistance, the likes of which no one in the world has, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these Africans who created and laid for us a foundation of struggle and resistance that was passed on generation after generation, that was passed on to Harriet Tubman, who fought her way out of enslavement and became a symbol of freedom for all of us. Similarly, Frederick Douglass and hundreds of thousands of others fought their way out of enslavement. We asked those Africans who went with Boukman Dessalines to create the greatest revolutionary experience in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution, leaving us a legacy, the likes of which no one else has had. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future.
Let us start our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Larima Shai, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, our Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow to all of you. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, great Gurus, receive our love, receive our desire to love you more, to attune our hearts and minds with your great presence. Om. Peace.
Speak truth to the people. To identify the enemy is to free the mind. Free the mind of the people. Speak to the mind of the people. Speak truth. Hide nothing from the masses of the people. Tell no lies. Expose lies whenever they are told. Mask no difficulties, mistakes, failures. Claim no easy victory. When we lose our African connection, we lose our world connection. When we disconnect ourselves from Africa, we cease to be a world people. Without the African connection, we are a disjointed people, begging for the entry into somebody else's house.
Reading from the Hosea, from the book of Ptah Hotep. Be not arrogant because of your knowledge. Take as counsel with the ignorant as well as with the wise. For the limits of knowledge in any field have never been set, and no one has ever reached the limits of knowledge. Wisdom is rarer than emeralds, and yet it is found among the women who gather at the grindstones. If you're a leader and command many, strive for excellence in all that you do, so that no fault can be found in your character. For Ma'at, the way of truth, the way of justice, the way of righteousness is great. Its value is lasting, and it has remained unequaled and unchanged since the time of its creator. It lies as a plain path before even the ignorant, and those who violate its laws are punished. Although wickedness may gain wealth, wrongdoing has never brought us its wares to a safe port. In the end, it is Ma'at, the way of truth, the way of justice, the way of righteousness, that endures and enables the upright to say, it is a legacy of my father and my mother. From the Hosea, from the book of Ptah Hotep. I acknowledge my ancestors upon whose shoulders I stand. I acknowledge my ancestors, the ones who came before and are still here. I acknowledge my ancestors upon whose shoulders I stand. To speak the names of your ancestors is to make them live again. Speak the ways and the names of your ancestors. The ways of our ancestors is libation. Pour libation for your father and your mother. In the words of Ancestral Dr. Benyakanan, when your God and your Savior look like your master and your enslaver, you become the principal agent in your own destruction. And in the words of Ancestral Kwame Nkrumah, I am African, not because I was born in Africa. I am African because Africa was born in me. Appearances to the mind are of four kinds. Things either are what they appear to be, or they're not, and yet appear to be, or they neither are nor appear to be, or they are and do not appear to be. In the words of Epictetus, rightly to aim in all these cases is a wise man's task, the wise woman's task. Appearances to the mind are of four kinds. Things either are what they appear to be, or they neither are nor appear to be, or they are and do not appear to be, or they're not, and yet appear to be. Rightly to aim in all these cases, a fime task, a fear task, a foe task. You're inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running African. One Africa, one nation. When I say one Africa, you say one nation. One Africa, one Africa. We won't get over it until we have figured out what really happened and until we have figured out a way to prevent it from happening again. We're not trading off our identity to fit in with anyone's idea of what we should be. We're not trading off our intellectual identity to fit into your idea of what you think we should be. We're not trading off our cultural identity to fit into your idea of what you think we should be. We're not trading off our intellectual identity, our cultural identity, our African identity, our spiritual identity, any part of our identity to fit in with your philosophies. We're not passing your test to determine whether or not we're capable. This is what they want us to do. But we remain steadfast, understanding that we must continue to honor our obligation to remember that excellence is the highest form of rebellion. Thank you so much for joining us inside of the Africa Forum this morning. We're going through until 10 o'clock. That's when the Big A comes in with the Sunday Sunshine. We're going to take a quick break, but just before we do that, let me just say this quickly. Our vision is to reunite the African family for development. That's the Africa Forum running African. Our mission includes blazing new paths towards Africa's rendezvous with destiny, bearing witness, demanding change, understanding what it means to bear witness, being the change that we want to see, crafting an African-centered agenda for change and development, all the while honoring my moral obligation to remember.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
16 now after 6 o'clock.
Stone's Ginger Wine Footloose is back. Saturday, August 29th, it's the Showtime edition. Live at Mass Camp with none other than our girl, Vanessa Bling. Ladies, you 2 for 1 before 11 p.m. Admission $1,500 per person, $2,500 at the gate. Tickets at Kingston Jerk, Intimate Curve, Collectibles, Avery's, Guinness and Marshall's Pharmacy. Sponsored by CS Couriers, Double 7 Energy Drink, Auto Boys, Chad Auto, Jam Desk, Sign Express, Bing's Fabrics, Spotlight Production, Irie Zets, Stone's Ginger Wine Footloose, Showtime edition. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
It's hard-hitting, factual, and exciting. It's sports conversation like never before. What's the score?
9.58.
Every Monday night, 9 to 11 on the nation's number one Irie FM. Join us for riveting, unbiased, and open sports discussions. Get your views in.
Let's quickly take a call. Caller, good evening. Welcome.
Hear other point of views. What's the score? We have the stakeholders, the affected, the sidelined, the experts. Everyone is a part of this 2-hour sports talk.
Sharika Jackson has underlined her status as the fastest living woman on earth over 200 meters.
It's brought to you courtesy of
Hermosa Health, a modern concept in healthcare.
What's the score? Monday nights, 9 to 11 p.m. We have your front seat reserved.
That's huge. That's on the roof.
Sunday, August 30th, Plantation Cove will be set ablaze as the fireman Capleton performs live at Encore Live, Culture Rising, with guest appearances from Nesbeth and Dean Fraser. Music by Renaissance and Bass Odyssey. Admission $5,000. Get your tickets now at the Trends Bargain Mall. Fiscal locations in Kingston, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, and Montego Bay. Fontana Pharmacy in Montego Bay and St. Anne. Greenhouse Taj Mahal, Top Tier Wholesale, 12 to 12 Ultra Lounge, Plantation Smokehouse, Sharkies, and Grab and Go Discovery Bay. Gates open 4 p.m. Keep the fire burning. Encore Live, Culture Rising, Sunday, August 30th, Plantation Cove.
St. James, Dixie Promotion present Fairy Cookout. Good food, good people, great vibe. 23rd of August, Oakton, St. James. Music crazy dark sound. Big up Yabby. Seafood boil, steamed fish, jerk pork, jerk chicken, side order. Admission free. Oakton, St. James. Fairy Cookout, August 23rd. This coming Sunday. Fairy Cookout. Dixie, big up yourself.
It's cricket, wonderful cricket. The biggest party in sports is bigger and better in 2026 with a new franchise. Yes, the 2026 Caribbean Premier League unfolds August 7 to September 20 with new franchise Jamaica Kingsmen and with action back at Sabina Park. Join the Sporting Choice Irie FM for game day summaries on the matches involving Jamaica Kingsmen as well as the semi-finals and final with star Caribbean cricket commentator Andrew Mason. It's all courtesy of Falmouth Chicken. Looking for scrumptious food? Falmouth Chicken is simply the best in Western Jamaica. Vibes, pizza, wow. New era fencing. Efficiency at its best. Call us now at 876-382-4643. Ovaro Energy Solutions Limited. Customized from concept to connection. Call 876-537-7628 and break from the grid. Lasco Manufacturing. Convenient, nutritious, delicious. The biggest party in sports. The 2026 Caribbean Premier League on the Sporting Choice Irie FM.
This and every Sunday, the golden oldies, best of the 60s, 70s, and 80s at Sweet Lips Bar, Cotton Piece, Yuatan. Music by High Tension with guest DJs. Sunday, August 30, DJ Pops Movements and Michael Thompson. Hits from the 60s, 70s, and 80s from 12 noon to 12 midnight. Refreshment on sale. This and every Sunday, Sweet Lips Bar, Cotton Piece, Yuatan.
Free Africa. Running Africa ni. Ahaya Jamaica. Sa wote kaka se boso kadia. Ewo Irie FM.
Inside of the Africa Forum, this is Running African. My name is Kabu Ma'at. Peter Broadbent is in the house. We're going through until 10 o'clock. That's when the big A comes in with the Sunday Sunshine. Of course, we're streaming live on the internet at IRIEFM.net. We're on your 107s, 107.1 all the way to 107.9. Thank you so much for joining us on the 107s. Thank you so much for joining us on IRIEFM.net. And also, we're streaming live. Welcome to our viewers on YouTube, on IG, on Facebook, and where else are we? Twitter. Thank you so much for joining us at Irie FM, Irie FM JA, Irie FM Jam, Irie FM, what am I missing out, Peter? The Irie FM app, we missed that out. And remember that we're also on TikTok, and TikTok it is, all right, let me do this. At the YouTube, it's Irie FM Jam. So welcome on Irie FM Jam, right? On, I just kind of blocked myself out there. Anyway, thank you so much. Wherever you're joining us, okay, thank you, Peter. Irie FM Official, Irie_FM, you name it. Remember to like and share the video, especially for those who are watching on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you to you for choosing Irie FM, and in particular for making it the Africa Forum. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is Sunday, August 23, 2026. I almost said 2029. 2026. Yeah, we're gone far, I mean, not even 27. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this here Sunday. Wow, time flies. Tempus fugit. I'm telling you, tempus fugit, because we've got a bit to get through. And I just want to remind you of some of the things that I've gone through this week already. By the way, African and Africans today, we're finding ourselves at a salient and a pivotal point. And I think now more than ever, we are called to duty, called to attention, called to purpose as we face Africa's rendezvous with destiny. We, of course, being part of that destiny. We're just coming, or we're still into the 106th year of Mwalimu Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And we do not forget, and we will not forget, that he has already drafted for us the blueprint for universal black empowerment. And we talked last week about the declarations from 1920, the August Convention. This is something that we need to return to read again, to pay some attention to. The quest of Africa for Africans at home and abroad has been embarked on by many, and it continues to be so. But specifically, we're watching what's happening in the Sahel. We're watching what's happening with Ibrahim Traoré. We're looking at Niger. We're looking at Mali. Of course, Burkina Faso, looking to the Sahel, which seems to be leading this process right now. We stand with Ibrahim Traoré, as you know. That is not something that is going to change. We stand with Amini Goita. It's not something that's going to change. It has to take some serious things for that to change. We stand with Abdul Rahmani Chani, and we stand with those who are fighting. We implore the Africa Union, even as you go into a new session of the Africa Union, we implore the Africa Union to to embrace the mandate of the OAU, because that has not yet been fulfilled. So the mandate of those who were there in the beginning, the Majesty's Imperial Majesty, the Emperor Haile Selassie, Kwame Nkrumah, and all those who were there in the beginning, we implore the African Union to join the liberation movement, support the alliance of the Sahel, support Ibrahim Traore, and not no piecemeal situation like what we see Ghana doing. But Ghana is going to be leading the African Union going forward. So let's see what happens on the backside of that. But we're watching that. Just quickly to tell you about some of what's happening in the news, and we're paying some serious attention to some of what we're seeing here. Interestingly enough, quite a bit has been happening on the continent of Africa and also here on the island of Jamaica. There's a lot in the Caribbean, of course. There's a lot of talk now about SOFA, but we'll come to that later on. We're watching that. All right, so let me tell you quickly a little bit about what we're looking at this morning. The Cooper's Bend situation is in our sights this morning. We're going to be paying some attention to that. But quickly, we're looking at global food shortages because a report has been published looking at what is happening globally with food shortages. And it's coming on the backside of World War III. But it was in the making, the food security issues, the food security problems that we're facing, or the food insecurity problems that we're facing right now. And it's not just about the war, because this was already happening before the war. This is the war in the Strait of Hormuz and in that area, Iran, Israel, the United States, all of that, the West Asia and so on. That it propels it forward. But this global food crisis was something that we have been talking about for a very long time. It's something that we are really, really concerned about, because here in Jamaica, we might not be very consciously aware of it, but I'm quite sure by now you're noticing that something is happening. I think you're probably saying, oh, it's Hurricane Melissa, but it's not just Jamaica. Of course, Melissa's made it worse. It's happening across the world. And so we're looking at that report coming out of that. The Global Food Crisis of 2026, that report is out. We're seeing the Global Food Crisis International Plan also. That is something that we're paying attention to. That report has been published. We're paying some serious attention to that. For those who are watching online, on YouTube and so on, you'll be seeing some of the graphics that we're putting up. Global hunger crisis. The world is in the grip of the most devastating hunger crisis ever, with unprecedented levels of acute hunger being experienced worldwide. And so the different agencies have been looking at that. We've been looking at that for some time. Also, what is the cause of the hunger crisis? Many, many reasons. But suffice to say that today, millions of children are facing the worst hunger crisis the world has ever seen. Millions of people, over 294 million people, are facing acute food insecurity, according to the data, with 50 million people on the brink of starvation. Over 35 million children under the age of 5 are suffering from wasting, which is the most visible and life-threatening form of malnutrition. How do we cauterize this problem? How do we change what we're facing? It's not so easy. I think the main thing is to farm, whether it is your backyard farm or your family farm or you're in pots, doesn't matter what, but begin to plant, put food in the ground. We have miles and miles and miles and acres of lawns in Jamaica. Everybody wants a lawn, and you have this massive spaces of just lawn, we call it lawn. But what if we begin to plant some things on those lawns and in those gardens? Because, we can plant things in the flower garden, stuff, other things. Orange, although the orange on my dead out so fast, citrus, mango, fruits and food you can plant right in the middle of the flower garden. I think we are beyond curating these massive flower gardens. We have to move beyond that. So we're looking at the global food crisis. Also, just to tell you quickly, you'll hear more about this when we talk with Dr. Devon Taylor. JET has called for Jamaica's beaches to be recognized as a public commons and to be held in public trust. And this is a pretty interesting development. We're glad that JET has done this, come out publicly and say this. JET has been on this matter for some time, but this is the latest from them, that they have now called for Jamaica's beaches to be recognized as public commons. They've published a document called Strengthening Beach Access and Coastal Government in Jamaica. That document is available online, I think, and you can go read through that. But there's also a lot of reporting. I know Irie FM is one of the stations that has been reporting on this call from JET for beaches to be recognized as public commons. And if you can, please get a copy of the report, Strengthening Beach Access and Coastal Government in Jamaica. It is worth the read. Also, we are hearing out of the Central African Republic on the continent of Africa. Thank you so much, Peter. The document is on YouTube. Peter's just put that document up. You can have a look at it. Going now to the continent of Africa, over 100, it's 100 as of last night. I think it's probably more now, have died in the Central African Republic because a gold mine has collapsed. The Central African Republic is a case study. It's a case study because the Central African Republic is identified by them as one of the poorest countries, I think second only to Haiti, on the continent of Africa. Identified by them, and yet this is where they mine everything that they can find. Gold mines, all kinds of mines. The Central African Republic, as I said before, is ground zero for poverty, deliberate poverty, for disaster, capitalism, for disaster, neoliberalism, for everything disaster that is riding on capitalism 2.0's back. So a gold mine in Central African Republic collapsed on Tuesday, killing over 100 people. And the search and rescue efforts continued into this weekend, into Thursday. The collapse occurred at a site which is located near the border with Cameroon. And you're seeing from some of the footage that's on the screen there, the mine distributed by the Associated Press said the mine shows land crumbling and sliding down a slope toward many people below. And we're seeing the video on the screen. Local investigative authorities say they are looking into the cause of the collapse and trying to identify those responsible for operating the mine. We're paying close attention to this. We're going to take a quick break and come back to my first guest of the morning.
Stay cool this summer with the new Panasonic AC from ATL. The time by ATL and Panasonic is
now 6:34.
Tad's Records celebrating Jamaica's 64th year of independence. Featuring artists like Terry Linen, Big Mountain, Dwayne Stevenson, Marcia Griffiths, Hezron, Grandpa Entertain, Vibes Cartel, Mavado, Kukudu, Anthony Cruz, Raquel Jones, JT Lodge, Josie Wales, Brigadier Jerry, and History Man. Celebrating Jamaica 64. Available on all digital platforms worldwide. Tad's Record, the ultimate reggae experience.
Sunday, August 30th, Plantation Cove will be set ablaze as the fireman Capleton performs live at Encore Live, Culture Rising, with guest appearances from Nesbeth and Dean Fraser. Music by Renaissance and Bass Odyssey. Admission $5,000. Get your tickets now at the Trends Bargain Mall. Fiscal locations in Kingston, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, and Montego Bay. Fontana Pharmacy in Montego Bay and St. Anne. Greenhouse Taj Mahal. Top Tier Wholesale. 12 to 12 Ultra Lounge. Plantation Smokehouse. Sharkies and Grab and Go Discovery Bay. Gates open 4 p.m. Keep the fire burning. Encore Live, Culture Rising. Sunday, August 30th, Plantation Cove.
Advanced Service Station, Island Vibes Food Court, and Jacon Foods, in association with Help Jamaica Medical Mission, present the annual St. Thomas Health Fair on Saturday, September 5 at the Yalis Primary School from 9 a.m. until everything free. Eye exams, blood pressure checks, blood sugar tests, school medicals, and general checkup with more doctors and nurses to serve you better. Fun activities and refreshments all day. See you on Saturday, September 5 at the Yalis Primary School for the annual St. Thomas Health Fair.
St. Anne ATL Automotive has officially arrived in Ocho Rios. Join us Saturday, August 29th at the Ocho Rios Bypass Plaza for our massive multi-brand test drive day. Get behind the wheel of the all-new BYD Shark, Photon, Tunland G7, Honda CRV, MG ZS, JQ J7, and more. We've got bank financing pre-approvals, live DJ vibes, refreshments, and giveaways all day long. Bring your driver's license and hit the road. Saturday, August 29th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Ocho Rios Bypass Plaza. Don't just look, drive.
We're back with you inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running African, and I'm going to put this book up because my first guest for the morning is the author of this book, and we'll be speaking with him. He's, for those who are online, he's joining us on YouTube, so you can see him. For those who are on the 107, so you're listening to him. Of course, we're talking about Ansel Raspada Aishan Palmer, a Jamaican primary school principal, cultural historian, poet, educator, and Pan-African advocate whose life's work is dedicated to reclaiming African history, restoring dignity, and strengthening cultural consciousness. He's an award-winning poet. He's a community leader, and as I said before, he's principal, and he's combining his scholarship, his lived Rastafari experience, and grassroots activism to educate, inspire, and challenge imperial and inherited narratives. The book that we're going to be talking about. Oh, by the way, let me just tell you that he has served as public relations officer for the Malvern Nyabingi community, promoting cultural awareness, heritage preservation, and spiritual grounding within Jamaica and the wider African diaspora. We told you before that he's a principal. And he's a trained educator, a school leader with diplomas in teaching and environmental science and a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science. And the school he's principal of. Are you still at Low River Primary, my brother?
Yeah, man, I'm still at Low River Primary and Infant.
All right. And of course, he's also the winner of the Irie FM In Search of Tetchi poetry competition. That was what, 2007, 2006?
Yes.
There you go. Congratulations again. That was quite something.
Thank you.
And this is Behold Rastafari, Roots of an Indigenous Jamaican Cultural Movement that is changing the world. It's a work of love, isn't it, Raspada Aishan?
Yes, it is.
Brother
Yes,
Ansel
it is.
Palmer. And we're going to talk about, this is an introduction to the book because it's a very short time that we have with you this morning. And of course, you'll come back and discuss the book in detail. But let us talk about what led you to write this, because you've talked about that in the very, I think it's the foreword or somewhere in the introduction, about what led you to sit down, to not just sit down, but to research this, because you've done this from a kind of it's quasi-academic, isn't it? It's a scholarship.
Yes,
yeah.
I was doing my degree.
Mm-hmm.
It's environmental studies, and
Yes.
We were to do a thesis. And I thought, which part of the environment I knew most about, and I said it's a cultural environment.
Yes.
And I said, okay, I'm currently immersed in Rastafari, so I'm just going to write my study on Rastafari. So I started it as Rastafari yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Okay.
You know, and it was at a time when I was doing a lot of searching, and I just know that what I was reading about Rastafari, most of it wasn't coming from people who were actually living the tradition. It was from people who were on the outside looking in. So I wanted to